60 days, everything changes for the US dollar. And I say 60 days because insiders telling me that's when the major digital crypto bill could finally make it through Congress, hit President Trump's desk, possibly the end of September, maybe into October. It would send shockwaves through the financial world. But guys, this week was just step one in that process. Step one was just completed this week. The media completely missed the point of what just happened this week. While they were busy, chasing clicks and drama, focused on Coldplay concerts and other stuff, the biggest financial power struggle in modern history quietly exploded in the background. And if you don't understand what unfolded, you are going to be left behind, because this is about who controls America's future, the dollar, our financial system, Jerome Powell, your money, all of it tied up in one huge week. So we have a lot of news to unpack on this Sunday, and I want to bring you up to speed while you have some downtime on this Sunday. Thank you guys for subscribing. Great to see all of you. Much love to you. Love my subscribers. Great to see you guys. So let's break it all down, okay? China this week just slashed its U.S. Treasury holdings to the lowest level since the 2008 financial crisis. Now, that might sound like just a number on a spreadsheet, but it's not. It's a direct attack on the U.S. dollar. Why? Because for decades, the U.S. has relied on China to buy our debt. When China holds treasuries, our debt, it props up the dollar's global status. It's a vote of confidence in the U.S. economy. But now, China is selling. Now, they've been selling for the past few years, but now in a big way, and they're selling fast. And when your biggest creditor starts dumping your debt, that's the financial equivalent of pulling the fire alarm. It weakens demand for the U.S. dollar, pushes interest rates even higher, even as President Trump has been pushing Powell to lower interest rates. And it signals to the rest of the world that we don't trust America's money anymore. It's a massive economic blow to the U.S. credibility. And if this trend continues, the dollar's days as the world's reserve currency could be numbered. Now, at the same time, Trump is pushing for Fed Chair Jerome Powell to either resign or slash interest rates immediately. Kind of started off the week saying, I want him gone, I want him fired.
I think if Jerome Powell stepped down, it would be a great thing. I don't know that he's going to, but he should.
By the end of the week, he kind of walked that back a little bit. Where does Congress sit on all of this? Well, they just passed sweeping crypto legislation this week that bans central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Whoa. I mean, this is exactly, by the way, what I voted for. I absolutely wanted President Trump to ban central bank digital currencies. I think that this is the globalists' biggest wet dream right now, to push a CBDC. For lack of a better term, they want total control, and President Trump just gave them the middle finger.
I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
Now, each of these stories on their own would be major headlines, but together, all in one freaking week? This is a tectonic shift, a coordinated assault on the old financial order and the beginning of something entirely new in the United States. Now, in my opinion, this is the most pivotal moment in U.S. economic history since the creation of the Federal Reserve back in 1913.
All right, Shalom. Kohallah, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakudash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of the great millstone who teach you well. Peace, infinite salutations to the elect, scattered abroad, the four corners of the earth, doing this work in truth and in sincerity. All right, quick in-transit video. I was just watching this video from Redacted, and you see the title of the lesson. This guy, Donald Trump, could very well be the guy to fulfill the prophecy in Revelation 13, which is the mark of the beast. Okay, he could be the guy to usher this thing in, which we believe, starting with the elder apostle Har on down, we believe he is the guy that's going to really usher this thing in. But regardless, this prophecy is going to take place in the near future, whether it be this year, next year, 6 months from now. Regardless, this prophecy's being going to be fulfilled. Now, something that this guy said, I'm going to play the video back just a few seconds, okay?
Resign or slash interest rates immediately. Kind of started off the week saying, I want him gone, I want him fired.
I think if Jerome Powell stepped down, it would be a great thing. I don't know that he's going to, but he should.
By the end of the week, he kind of walked that back a little bit. Where does Congress sit on all of this? Well, they just passed sweeping crypto legislation this week that bans central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Whoa. I mean, this is exactly, by the way, what I voted for. I absolutely wanted President Trump to ban central bank digital currencies. I think that this is the globalists' biggest wet dream right now, to push a CBDC. For lack of a better term, they want to control, and President Trump just gave them the middle finger.
I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
All right, so you heard that, right? So what you just heard is that supposedly the Congress passed a bill to ban central bank digital currency. But you got to understand that they also, what just passed, this guy Donald Trump just signed a bill about the stable coin, all right? Which it goes into the cryptocurrency and all of that stuff. Which this guy Donald Trump, he's nothing but a puppet at the end of the day, okay? And he speaks with a forked tongue, so you can't believe anything he says. This prophecy is going to come to pass, all right? Them, what they quote unquote saying that they banned the central bank digital currency, that's BS, because they're just masking it with stable coin, all right? So they're playing both sides of the field, so to say. Right, but anyways, let's get Habakkuk 2 and 3 real quick. Habakkuk 2 and 3, it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So this prophecy of the mark of the beast is closer than we've ever imagined. Okay? This prophecy of the mark of the beast is closer than we ever imagined. This new bill being signed with the stable coin, you know, with all these nations, the BRICS nations, okay? What is it? Brazil, Russia, India, China, okay? South Africa, you know, these different nations that are, especially China and Russia, that are dropping the US dollar. China's dropping the US dollar, which that's going to cause, which recently actually, elders was going into it yesterday at camp. After camp, brothers was going into how pretty much the US dollar lost like 10% of its value, you know, in a short span of time. All right, so this thing is, you know, this thing is heating up. The US dollar, the days are numbered for the US dollar, and everything will go digital in the very near future, man. This prophecy is about to be fulfilled, and all the naysayers, everybody that didn't believe, everybody's gonna see this thing roll out. All right before your eyes. And at first you had who was it? Kennedy, I believe. One of these guys, politicians, said that they want everybody to wear wearables. So it's gonna, you know, it's gradually, everything is gradually moving towards this digital RFID chip being implanted inside of you for total control. That's what the elites want. That's the enterprise. That's the new world order that's being rolled out before everybody's eyes. That's why everything is going digital. Everything is going digital because everything is moving gradually towards the microchip being made mandatory. You're not going to be able to buy and sell without the microchip. All right? That's what life is moving towards. Okay? And what Esau is doing is he's the one inflating the US dollar. He's doing this on purpose, so they can usher in the new system, which is going to be a digital system, the CBDC. Whether they say it's banned right now or not, they can call it stable coin, they can call it something else. Regardless, it's going to be centered and tied around everybody getting a microchip. So this vision is surely going to come to pass. This prophecy is surely going to come to pass, and it's going to come to pass in the near future. All right, it's going to be gradual. First, they might give you an app on your phone when the dollar collapses. No more paper dollars. They might tell you to download an app, and then they might, after that, they might tell you to get a wearable, you know, something to wear around your wrist or something, and then sooner or later, it's going to be that chip being inserted inside of you. That is the mark of the beast. The technology is already here. The infrastructure for the mark of the beast is already here. The tap to pay You know, everybody got Apple Pay, Tap to Pay. All of that is part of a bigger picture of ultimately getting everybody on Earth microchip. That's the plans of this elite, the shadow government. Right? This is Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And this image of the beast is speaking of this New World Order. All right, the NWO. That's literally being rolled out as we speak. Every day that goes on, laws are being put in place. Okay? The stage is being set for total domination, total control over the population. And really, they want to come for the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And if you don't know this prophecy and you take it, you're not going to live. You're going to die here. You're not going to get salvation. This prophecy, Revelation chapter 13, 15 on down to 18, the prophecy of the mark of the beast, you know, is so important because your life depends on it. If you don't have the wisdom and knowledge of what this thing is and you take it, you're not going to get salvation. You're not going to be saved if you take the chip. All right? Regardless of how much laws you think, the laws, the statutes, the commandments, I don't care if you're keeping 610 commandments. If you take that microchip, you're not going to make it. You're not going to live. You're not going to get salvation. Revelation 14, 9 and 10. You got a lot of Israelite camps. A lot of people in general that don't know what this prophecy is. Bishop Nathaniel of the IUIC, what's up? Okay. WFI, Adam Abbott, what's up? Naquan, what's up? You know? ISUPK, General Yohana, what's up, man? All these guys are going to be found out to be false prophets when this prophecy comes to pass. And some of them might repent. Some of them might not. And whoever don't repent, whoever take that chip, you're going to die. All right? Everybody's going to humble themselves down to prophecy. Everybody on the face of the earth is going to have to humble themselves down to prophecy. And that's what the elder apostles of Great Millstone on down, that's what we're speaking. We have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. We're coming in the spirit of prophecy. We're telling you what's about to happen. There's no questions about this. The US dollar is not forever. And you heard this guy from Redacted. He said that the next 60 days is going to be some crazy shit going down with this US dollar. All right? Regardless of when, it don't matter when, because we know it's going to happen sooner or later. Okay? And we're just going to have to wait and see. Scriptures talk about being patient, and your patience possesses ye your souls. We down to the last few. Once this prophecy really comes to pass, we counting down days before Yahweh Shai comes back, before this war really brews up, World War III. Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that mark is the microchip. Whether it's a grain of rice, whether it's something smaller, what it is that technology, the RFID, the radio frequency identification technology, they want to put that inside you, a charagma, the chip. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. All it takes is one major crisis. All right, one major false flag attack, one major shit hit the fan moment, where they can usher this thing out under the guise of martial law, because martial law will be declared too, and it might be medical martial law. You have something called martial law, and then you also have medical martial law. Because they might hit this place with another scamdemic as well. All right? So, They got medical martial law, and then they got martial law. So that's the time that we're living in. Okay? So this devil is going to cause everybody on the face of the earth to get a charagma. Okay? That's what's about to happen. The prophecy is speaking loud and clear. But ultimately, Yahweh Shai is going to put an end to this. You know, Yahweh Shai is not going to allow this prophecy to be fully fulfilled, you know? Yeah, people are going to be chipped up. Yeah, you know, there's going to be, you know, Jacob's trouble. But in the midst of Jacob's trouble, while people are getting chipped, that's when Yahweh Shai is going to come back and put an end to this, man. All right? Job 5:12, it tells you he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, man. The Lord is not going to allow these devils to fully fulfill their enterprise, which is that new world order, man. Okay? They're not going to, Yahweh Shai is not going to allow that to happen. All right? So as the days get closer, as we get closer to Jacob's trouble, we're going to start seeing the US dollar lose more value. All right? We're going to start seeing more talks of digital currency, CBDCs, but we're in the time of watching. Okay? Let's get the next scripture real quick. Revelation 13:17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. So that's what this devil's plans are. Starting with the top wicked elite. Their new world order is centered around getting everybody chipped, which is total control, you know? Total control over the population. That's what they want. And you're not going to be able to buy and sell. You're not going to be able to go to the store and buy food. You're not going to be able to buy water. You're not going to be able to pay for your rent. You're not going to be able to pay for Netflix unless you have the microchip. And that's when your faith has to, our faith is going to have to kick in on 144% in that time. That's what we are preparing for. The men of the Lord, believers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we're preparing for this major prophecy. All right? We're preparing for the hour of temptation where everything is going to be put on the line. Your life is going to be on the line. And you're going to have faith. We're going to have the only way you're going to make it out is if you have faith. If you believe. That's the ultimate test. Are you ready to lose everything? Including your own life if you have to. That's what it's about to come down to. And everybody's going to see it. Right now you got these Israelites that are scoffers, false prophets. You know, they come up against this prophecy heavy. You know? Well, you're going to have to answer. When this prophecy comes out, what you going to do? A lot of these guys are going to fold up because they haven't been being prepared. And really because they're not the elect. Satan is not going to get an advantage over the elect, bro. The elect have been predestined to pass this test. But it doesn't take away from the seriosity of the times that we're entering into, man. Because we're going to have to walk this straight and narrow alone. Everybody's going to have to walk this and take this test alone. It's going to be you and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And your life is going to be on the line. You got family members, you got children. How you going to feed your kids? You going to trust the Lord? You know? Your woman. What if your woman go and take it? The woman is the weaker vessel. You know, she might last 2 days in Jacob's trouble. And go and take the chip and then get the kids chipped up. What you gonna do? This is the things you gotta think about. All right? These are things you gotta think about. But regardless, whoever the elect is, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is gonna be with the elect, with us, the hopeful elect, man. The Lord's gonna be with us. But we counting down the days. This guy, Donald Trump, I believe he's gonna be the one to bring this chip to pass. That's my belief, speaking as a man. Well, unless someone else comes in office and it's the next guy, whoever. regardless, this prophecy is coming in the near future. All right. So with that, hey, call Loya Abashim El Shai, Bashim Kakudash. Today, Shalom.